Okay, so I did my P4 Shadow at the Campus Health Pharmacy, and let me tell you, it is like the holy grail of retail pharmacy. When we walked in, it was just a few shelves of medication. There were two pharmacists on duty. They had their intern, Tatiana, that I was shadowing. They had two techs as well. Everyone had a stool to sit on. They could have their water out. I mean, at my retail pharmacy at Walmart, there's absolutely no stools. There's absolutely no food, drink, not even a water bottle's allowed. Um, and so basically, just asked them about their volume, what they do. They said right now they're a little low because the CVS just went in on University and they took a lot of their business. So they do on a good day about 200 scripts a day. And for those of us that have worked in retail, 200 prescriptions to have two pharmacists, an intern, and two techs, that's crazy. That's what my store does. We do 200 a day. We have one pharmacist that's got to work a 12-hour shift, and they just keep cutting hours over and over again. But so I mean, that alone is just amazing. I asked both the pharmacists there how long they've been around. Um, One of them's been there for 21 years. The other one's coming up on 30. So, I mean, like I said, holy grail. If you can get in there, I'm pretty sure you're going to stay there for life until you retire, just because they treat you so well. So, one thing that is really interesting about it is Kim, the pharmacist, explained it as a retail pharmacy that kind of operates as an independent pharmacy. They don't they don't hassle with insurance. It's a cash only operation. The only patients that they are allowed to have are students, faculty, staff. So you have to be able to show your CAT card to pick up a prescription, even to pick up their over-the-counter medications that they have. They have an OTC section, but you have to have your CAT card to purchase anything there. The reason they do that is they have what did she call it? They get special pricing. It's Minnesota multi-state pricing, she said, and so because of that, it's limited just to the students. We asked them, can you do any advertising, to try and increase your volume? And she said that they can't put any flyers on Sixth Street or anything because they can't have anyone that's not affiliated with the university. And if they were to do that, they'd get a large crowd of people trying to use the pharmacy that can't. But as far as the retail side making money, even though they do such low volume, she says that they make a profit. They don't even they not only break even, but they make a profit even with such low volume. So the one thing that Tatiana, the P4, and both the pharmacists agreed on was that the thing that they loved most, and what they love most about working at Campus Health, is the time they have to counsel every patient. They're so low volume. They're not hassling with insurance. Every patient that came to the window, they were able to take time, explain exactly what the medication's for, why they should use it, why they need to finish their entire antibiotic, which is cool because the majority of the patients they see are college students. Many of them are picking up their first prescription ever, and so they're, as far as their what am I trying to say? I'm having a brain fart right now. As far as their medical knowledge, it's relatively new to them. Not Most of them aren't taking a science class, and so to understand why they have to finish the antibiotic was interesting. Um, One thing that you notice right off the bat is, instead of a whole shelf of lisinopril like most retail pharmacies, your heart medications, your cholesterol medications, because you're treating an older population. They have a whole shelf of oral contraceptives, maybe like two strengths of lisinopril, which when you work in retail, it's just hilarious to think about. What else? What else? We asked. Tatiana, if she'd be interested in working there afterwards, but she's going a more clinical route. She got a residency at the VA in San Francisco, so she's interested in sticking with the VA, sticking with clinical. Um, you know, One thing we did talk about with the pharmacist is, yeah, it's a retail setting, but because of the increased time that they can spend with each patient, they like to bring a clinical aspect to it, talk over with them. But there is one amazing thing, even though we shouldn't say it because everyone, all of our professors are pushing vaccinations and being gung ho about vaccinating, but none of those pharmacists vaccinate. If a student needs a vaccination for any reason, they send them upstairs to the nurse, and I guess there's a nurse there full time that will vaccinate. So not only are they low volume, they've got all this help. They don't vaccinate. They don't have a corporate breathing down their neck, forcing them to increase volume, which is nice. We talked about Schedule 2 narcotics, which are an increasing problem. They don't really see that there. The only Schedule 2s that they really dispense would be your Adderalls, your Vyvanse, all your amphetamine salts. And they say they don't really have a problem there. The only pains they see rarely would be Percocet, maybe a Tylenol 3. And so I really enjoyed that aspect. I've had a bad taste in my retail experience from narcotics, all the drug seekers, and so we talked about the importance of PMP. But I would absolutely work there. Like I said, it's the holy grail. So those pharmacists have been there 2-3 decades. So the opportunity to get in there, um, it's very slim. I think you've got to have a foot in the door. So I would definitely be interested in doing a rotation, just because they have Tatiana doing these interesting projects. One of the projects is they chart their sales on certain medications. So one of the medications that they had Tatiana charting was azithromycin, specifically the 1 gram slam, and she showed us this chart. After weekends, it would skyrocket. After spring fling, 1 gram slam would skyrocket. They said that the next data set that she's going to plot is after Coachella, and they expect that to be record sales for azithromycin 1 gram. They also had her do another project where they were checking along the same lines. They did blood work on these patients that were picking up azithromycin to see if they actually had chlamydia. So they would check them, check the partners. I guess 56% had chlamydia. There was 3% of their partners that they also filled for, which didn't actually have it, but they got it anyway preemptively. And so it's just interesting things like that. They would chart basketball games, home U of A basketball games, and notice if it was a win or a loss, and a correlation between the amount of Plan B that was purchased. So just fun things like that. I would definitely recommend a rotation there, mainly because it is so low volume that you're able to learn a lot. Tatiana said that um, Kim, the pharmacist there, went over, in retail, there's so many birth controls. She said that she took the time to go over each one and explain, okay, so for this particular patient, if they're displaying this, why would we start them on this birth control? And so she was able to explain that. So I like that. I like a good learning experience, time in a pharmacy, and an experienced pharmacist that would take the time out of their workflow to teach you something new. I enjoy counseling. That's my favorite thing to do at my pharmacy, and so because they have such an extended amount of time, they're able to counsel. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I enjoyed my time there. I think David Shanushi enjoyed his time there, and Tatiana really enjoys it. She says that it's the best retail setting that she's ever seen.